agriculture in this country to be able to brief the Liberian people on what we are doing in the sector. So before we proceed, let me just introduce my colleagues who are here with me today. I have with me Mr. Solomon H. Williams. He is the Deputy Minister for Technical Services at the Ministry of Agriculture. We also have here Mr. Francis Morba. Francis Morba is the Assistant Minister responsible for economic policy and planning. We are expecting to arrive the Deputy Minister for Administration. This is Antoinette Bobet, who will be joining us very shortly. On this first appearance, we want to thank His Excellency the President of the Republic of Liberia for reposing confidence in me and my team to stir the affairs of a sector that he knows better than any other person in this country. As we all know, His Excellency was one time Minister of Agriculture, and not just Minister of Agriculture. Before going to that position, he had worked through the sector from production, value addition, to policy making. So we are honored to be standing here today to represent the sector that he better understands than we do. Let me also thank the Minister again and the Mika family for creating this platform on which we stand to let the public know what we are doing in our respective sector. As we begin this briefing on this first appearance, we will first of all want to take the Liberian people and the listening audience to what we plan to do in the sector, what we are doing now, and some of the challenges that we experience that may hinder our progress in day and night. When that plan is launched, it will not only direct investment of the government, but also provide guidance for our development partners who support agricultural development in Liberia. As we all know, agriculture has become a critical aspect of the President's arrest agenda. If you look at arrest, agriculture comes first, rule of law, roads, education, sanitation, and tourism. Being the first in the agenda, we feel agriculture should be given priority because of its significance, not just to allow us to attain self-sufficiency in our own food production, but also because of its potential to generate wealth for the ordinary people and the economy in general. So today, on our National Development Plan, we have thought to focus on key areas that will sustain the growth of this economy, make Liberians self-sufficient in producing what they eat, in doing what they do to generate income, and in ensuring nutrition security of this country. So we have 5 categories of areas. On the plan, we are going to be focusing on food crops. And for food crops, we mean those commodities that we produce from the farm, go through processing, and go to the tables for our eating or consumption. And this plan is going to be adopting what we call the value chain approach to agricultural development. By value chain approach, we mean we are going to be attacking or targeting agricultural development, beginning with production, aggregation, processing, marketing, and consumption. Along the production end will be the farmers. We want to be able to say, well, you are a farmer, you are producing. When you produce, you should have some group of people who will get to you at the farm gate, purchase what you have produced, take it to a processing plant, and that processing plant will be able to process it. And those who are involved with marketing will purchase the processed commodity, take it to the market, and for us, the consumers, go to the market and buy what we need for our households. So that value chain approach will be used in all of our development strategy. For food crops, we have prioritized 4 specific areas or subsectors. The first of those subsectors is rice. We all know how significant rice is. And those of you who listened to the president's interview with the BBC, he said at the end of his 6th year of stewardship of this country should be 70% self-sufficient in rice and 30% dependent on importation. It is a challenge to us as Minister of Agriculture and my team to ensure that the vision of the president becomes a reality. So in this vein, we have decided that at the Ministry of Agriculture, over the next 5 to 6 years, we want to be able to develop 50,000 hectares of lowland that will be dedicated to the production of rice. When we succeed in developing these 50,000 hectares of rice or lowland for rice production, it's going to drive us to what the president wants to see in this country. Those involved with rice production, like I said, it's going to be a value chain approach. We want to make sure that these 50,000 hectares are formed within the cluster. And we are going to be organizing production units that will support cultivation along these clusters. Each of the production units will be associated with a processing plant and other service centers that will provide them mechanization services. We have said at the Ministry of Agriculture, we've told our development partners that we are no more going to be giving our farmers cutlasses and hoe and tell them to go and produce. What we're going to be doing on our plan will be organizing our producers into smaller units, putting them into production units, and developing the infrastructure that supports production of the commodities that we are targeting here on our plan. So, besides rice, which is our critical commodity for consumption, we also want to be able to increase the income level of farmers and smallholder producers in the rural community through cassava production. Cassava is one of the key commodities that's making income right now in the rest of the world. There is huge demand for cassava and finished cassava products. So what we'll be doing over the next 5 to 6 years will be to develop 20,000 hectares of land for cassava production. What we mean developing, we want to make sure that we organize production units, place them, for example, 100 acres of land, mechanize it, and put production units of smallholders there to produce in the form of a cooperative. Not smallholders scattered around. We want to organize the production units and place them on a piece of land that we invest in as a government and other development partners. So over the next 6 years, we should be able to, with the right financing, develop 3,000 hectares, and those in production will produce the fresh cassava root. You will have aggregators buying the root from them, taking it to a processing plant that we think will be able to transform the cassava roots to starch and export it for income generation. As a matter of fact, we have tried to begin some engagement with partners and some private sector actors who will come to support the cassava sector by establishing plants that will process the cassava into starch for exportation. Besides cassava, we also want to develop the maize subsector. Corn, we know, is very critical. Corn is important for the poultry industry. We all here eat eggs. We all here eat chicken feet, chicken meat. We do eat those. They are produced all from chicken. But to raise chicken, which is our poultry industry, requires feed. And the major ingredient in the chicken feed is maize or corn. In Liberia, to be a poultry farmer is very costly because we do not produce the ingredient that goes into the manufacture or processing of the feed that is required for our poultry industry. So we want to be able to also have 20,000 hectares of land cultivated by smallholder organized in production units to grow corn. And that corn will be purchased from them, taken to a factory where it will be transformed into animal feed, so that those who would get involved with poultry production can have access to low-cost feed to sustain the industry. Besides maize, cassava, and rice, we want to also invest in the development of infrastructure that supports vegetable production. If you walk in our streets sometimes, if you saw a tomato, or you went to the supermarket and saw tomato, it might be telling you that it was imported. If you went, especially during these days, you see watermelon, it might be coming from Guinea or somewhere else. So we have spoken with our development partners, and we ourselves as a government have committed ourselves to ensuring that we create the infrastructure or support the development of infrastructure that will support round-year production of vegetables so that you can have access to it. So that in your diet, you can diversify. That you will not just depend on rice. You must have a balanced diet in our drive to ensure dietary diversity. So besides the food crop, we also want to be able to develop some tree crops. We're looking at 4 tree crops that we want to develop. We want to look at cocoa. Cocoa is one of the economically significant crops in the agriculture economy. The price of cocoa right now on the world market is high. I know Liberia used to be one of the exporters of cocoa. We still do today, but the volume that we export is low. So we want to be able to honor our project or our plan to develop additional 10,000 hectares of new farm through our support to smallholder farmers to increase our production of high-value cocoa to be exported to the rest of the world. Besides cocoa, we also want to be able to support the production of coffee. You may not know, but Liberia was one of the first, or the countries that have one of the unique varieties of coffee. We call that coffee Liberica. Liberia grew coffee Liberica and exported it. Well, we've lost that. It is still here, but it's almost getting dangerous. So all we want to do is to reactivate the coffee industry by supporting farmers to grow coffee on 15,000 hectares of land. Each of those hectares will be associated with a smallholder farmer. So if we were to develop, say, 50,000 hectares, we want to be able to use that as a means of creating jobs for our people. So by developing 15,000 hectares, we will be creating income-generating opportunities for 15,000 households who will produce and market for income generation. Besides coffee, we also want to support the production of cashew nut. What we call kusa, right? It is a delicious fruit. It's economically very essential in the world economy. In fact, today, I've gone to supermarkets in Liberia and seen cashew nuts produced here in Liberia and packaged here. Very delicious. We want to be able to support people like those to expand production and even bring on board new individuals who will be interested in establishing cashew plantations for income generation. We've also targeted doing coconut. Coconut is a very critical commodity. Maybe some of us feel just by eating it, that's the only benefit of it. But coconut is a diverse crop that can produce different commodities or different products out of the coconut itself. So, what we are trying to do on our plan would be to look at our coastal counties where coconut has a comparative advantage. We want to be able to develop a minimum of 12,000 hectares in the southeastern counties of Riverside, Grand Cruz, Santo, and Union counties, where coconut is produced. We want to be able to support that. Besides our tree crops, we want to also do some food crops. Crops like avocados or the water pear. It will amaze you to know that some of the water pears we have here come from Guinea. Some of them come from Sierra Leone. But we have the same soil. So we want to be able to support our farmers to be able to develop 5,000 hectares of plantation for watermelon or avocado. We also want to be able, over the next 5 years, to do some citrus crops, oranges or tangerine. We want to be able to have our farmers invest into plantations of oranges or tangerine or grapefruit just for the market. Besides that, papaya or pawpaw. Pawpaw is very significant. You know, the doctor told me if you have a pawpaw, you blend the pawpaw with the seed, the peeling, everything is good for eyesight. I was surprised at that. But it will interest you to know that we do not have a structured market for pawpaw in this economy. Some of the pawpaw that we have come from Guinea. Some of them are imported from Cote d'Ivoire. So we want to be able to support our farmers to grow pawpaw on a large scale and create the market opportunity for them to be able to generate income. Besides the crops, we want to look at also livestock. Liberia had in the past more than 7 ranches across the country. And the data tells us that in Liberia we have more than 120,000 hectares of grazeland that is suitable for livestock production. But still we depend on import of cattle for beef. Or in fact we import beef meat, beef to this country. We want to be able to restock the ranches we have in this country so that they can provide for us meat for our tables. We also want to be able to encourage people to get into large-scale poultry production. I think you heard the president speak on the BBC. He said when he was Minister of Agriculture, they never imported chicken egg. I think that should be a challenge to us. We want to make sure that before the end of the 6 years, no chicken egg will be imported. And we are going to do that. Personally, I don't like chicken feet. When I see people buying imported chicken feet, it tells me, I just have my own view about it. I just don't buy it. Because I feel that the chicken feet should be used and bred for something else. But it's a critical commodity for us, consumption commodity. Because we do not have the bread meat that we need for our table. Some people go for chicken feet. That's cheaper. But over the next 5 years, we want to be able to expand domestic bread production and egg so that we can put some cap on the importation of these commodities that have taken over our markets. Ruminants, goats, sheep, and pig. During Ramadan like these, you know, most of our Muslim brothers and sisters, you will see they will be having sheep in the truck crossing the borders here because we do not have the market or we do not have large-scale production. So what we'll be doing on our leadership at the Ministry of Agriculture and within the framework of our National Agriculture Development Plan will be to support counties like Grand Cape, where predominantly the residents are Muslims, to be able to expand production of sheep so that they don't have to go and maybe import it from Guinea or bring it from Guinea for their Ramadan services processes. Or even to create a market for molten. Other countries you see, you got roasted, molten is the sheep meat, you got it on the market, they are selling it. And it's delicious. So we want to be able to support our farmers to get into the production of sheep, goats, and pig breed to support our domestic consumption demand. And the fifth item on our plan will be supporting the fishery sector. I know we have vast coastline for offshore fishery, but we also have a decent area for inland fishery. So we want to be able to work with the National Fishery Authority and Aquaculture Authority, which they are chairing the board, to expand inland fishery so that our women in the rural areas can have a fish pond around their home to fish for their families and also for the market. So these are actions we take, but there are others we want to do also. We want to be able to strengthen the capacity of the Ministry of Agriculture, the Central Agricultural Research Institute that is responsible for agricultural research to support the plan. All we are planning to do will require human resource capacity. It's strengthening one. We need all of the crop scientists. We need all of the specialists in animal science. We need all of the specialists in monitoring evaluation. We need a specialist that will be involved with maybe data collection statisticians. We need all those specialists. We need veterinary medical practitioners. In fact, let me just take this time to honor the late Anderson. Joseph Anderson was the only vet behind this company, in fact, the most trained one. But we lost him just last month. So we need to build more capacity to replace people like those. When you build the capacity of the Ministry of Agriculture and the Central Research Institute and other institutions that are involved in agriculture, education, or research, you have a vibrant agriculture sector. All of the plans we have for developing our crop sector, we want to be able to achieve them through mechanization. The use of mechanization or machinery in our production system. The president has always said, if you want to have the young people interested in agriculture, you cannot be dependent on cutlasses or hoe because the labor is just so difficult. But if you are able to give them small farm tools, farm equipment, some machinery, power tiller, or hand equipment that are easy to be used, that are convenient to be used, you will have more young parents, young boys getting farming. So mechanization is going to be one of our key impetus to driving the agriculture sector. That's why we are saying, when we organize a production unit that will be involved in cassava production, we want to be able to empower that unit by, first of all, helping with what you will see will be, personal experience. I went to the boat around the Cabinet Junction where they sell watermelon and other fruits. The lady took out a bottle of watermelon, she lifted it and gave it. She said, oh, this is $10. Then she took out another one, she lifted it and said, this is $1,000. So I said, but what is the business for $100? If you got 10 pounds, you know that's $1,000. If that lady is able to say harvest 1 metric ton of watermelon, you know that's 1,000 kilograms. And if she knows that 1 kilogram of watermelon sells for $200, she's able to predict her income depending on her harvest or what she does with the market. So we want to be able to train our farmers, but our traders in the sector to use skills to measure what they sell. We also want to be able to develop a strategy that will enable each of our counties to be specialized in what they do. We look at it on comparative advantage. And on that basis, that's why we thought the southeastern county would be a good book. Because if you went to River Cess, you went to Brown, you were on the beach side, you see a lot of coconut plantation already. That means the soil is good for that. Because of that comparative advantage, we should be able to associate counties with what they can do better. So we want to be developing a clear strategy on county level or regional agricultural development. We also want to be able to empower our agro business entrepreneurs, what we're calling the Agricultural Enterprise Development Bank. That bank will be responsible for lending to those actors that are involved in developing the different value chains in the agriculture sector. If that bank, once that bank is established, the issue of accessing finance for expansion or for involvement in agriculture will be resolved. In fact, right now we are encouraging our farmers, not our farmers, but our students who are into agriculture, to be able to get better skills so that when you graduate from agriculture college, you just come and say, well, you have an innovative idea, you can apply for grant or for loan through this bank to establish a new enterprise. You want to be able to do that. So, value addition in our rubber industry is key on our agenda too. We know Liberia has been one of the, in fact, Liberia was the first large plantation of rubber in Africa. And very part of the history of rubber production, Liberia came number 2 in terms of farm size. But Liberia has not been able to process or to sell any finished product made from rubber. We think we should make efforts now to be able to get those actors that are in the rubber industry to pay attention to value addition. So we will be driving that through the national agricultural development. But those are plans that we have for the sector. So what have we done since we became minister? We took over my team and myself at the Ministry of Agriculture. We took over the ministry with some challenges, and we'll talk about it. But in the first 30 days of our stewardship, we were able to take a few actions. The first is we launched the University of Liberia Farm on the Fender campus so that the students who are involved with agriculture or studying agriculture can have a place to go and practice their profession so that when they leave the walls of the university, they are prepared to become master farmers. That they will go to a bank and present a plan based on their experience and the practical knowledge acquired from the farm. That farm, we also want to use it as a model for what we intend to see in the larger agriculture economy. So we'll be supporting them, me and the team will be supporting them to ensure that our farm becomes vibrant. Because agriculture is not just production. From production, value addition, marketing before it gets to us. And there are other activities around. So we want to be able to have everything that is associated with agriculture first exemplified at the University of Liberia, and then we can go on. The next thing we've done also have been to relaunch cooperative production program, beginning with the former multi-level cooperative. 2 Saturdays ago, we went there and launched a project that will be supporting our cooperative that currently has 11 for corn production base. 100 hectares will be 250 acres. Besides the former cooperative, we also have gone to Lofa. Lofa, in the Polahon district, there is a place called Famboda. Famboda has vast lowland area. So my team has gone there and identified 200 hectares of lowland that we intend to support smallholder producers through the cooperative development for 200 members of the cooperative that are cooperative around there. So we should be doing that. In the cassava value chain, we've also identified 320 hectares to be developed in 4 counties: Bong, Grand Cape Mount, Makibi, and most of the other counties. These 320 hectares will be associated with 320 smallholder farmers, operating in a group as cooperative, but each of them owning a hectare on our production site. We've also been able to complete the mapping of lowlands in Lima County. As we all may be aware, Boundofa and Lima are the 4 basket counties, and we intend to be sure that they really gain that status and make us self-sufficient in our food production. So we've identified a couple of lowlands in Lima County that will be supporting through the government-owned investment and investment through support from our development partners. And today, we want to be launching through this forum what we call the Para-Urban Agriculture Development Program. And that program will be piloted in 3 cities: Monrovia and its environment, Canada City, Banga City, and Danta City. The intent of the Para-Urban Agriculture Program is to help our city residents develop the wetlands they have at their backyards. By matter of fact, this is part of the sanitation agenda on the arrest. We want to make sure that the wetlands you have around your backyard can be used to produce our rice during the wet season, and you grow vegetables during the dry season, so that we will not see which is behind our backyard. So, those of you who will be listening to us, the Ministry of Agriculture, by next week, will be releasing a hotline that you will use if you are in this county to contact the requisite people at the Ministry of Agriculture to register you and survey what you have, just to take a measure of what you have, and we see how best we can provide some support for you to develop your backyard to grow crops that you can use in your own home for consumption. You produce more, you sell some. We'll do rice, we'll do vegetables. We've also been able to take some administrative actions at the ministry. By the matter of fact, my Deputy Minister for Technical Services is here. He advised me that we suspend the issuance of certificates for phytosanitary purposes and import and export. We are doing that briefly because through the review process, we realized that there are people carrying the stamp in their pockets and stamping for other people, for vendors, for merchants, without duly getting to the ministry. And some of these people, interestingly, they may be our own people. So we are working on changing the stamp. And by his suggestion, every import permit, every sanitary certificate will be stamped through the office of the minister. The department will do a revision and send it to the minister's office for validation and stamping. So, based on the suggestion from the department. Also, as we all know, agriculture commodities or equipment have duty-free privileges in Liberia. But we have suspended that because the first duty waiver of the executive order that created that, Executive Order 115, expired on January 19th of this year. So the Liberian Revenue Authority and the Ministry of Agriculture have put together a technical team to review the processes associated with the granting of duty-free privileges so that we know what is happening to enable us to make the appropriate suggestion to His Excellency the President for the review of the executive order. So all those our partners, all those other actors who are bringing in agriculture, equipment and other things have to declare and then all wait for us when the executive order is reviewed, then we can sign off on that, because we are currently reviewing the processes that are associated with the executive order to make the appropriate recommendations. We have said all of these big things. How can we achieve it? There are challenges currently that we face. When we go to the Ministry of Agriculture, we first have to do an HR audit. In the 2 days, the ministry is currently facing human resource division. We have on the payroll, active payroll, salary receivers, 373 persons on payroll. When we did the review, the audit tells me we have 82 persons on the payroll with title security. We have 35 persons with the title Brown. Out of the 373 active payroll staff, we have 117 of them who are ready for retirement. That means they are on payroll now, they are not doing nothing because they've reached the retirement age. So, the active workers are limited. If we have to move forward, it will require building those capacities in key areas. For example, the Ministry of Agriculture, let me make it clear, should be as big as the Ministry of Health and Education. 5 district agriculture officers across the country. Meaning, we need to have some of the farmers if we have to make agriculture serious. Besides the plant or the district agriculture officers, we also have within the structure of the ministry what we call the plant agricultural technicians. Those plant technicians are supposed to be providing advisory services for community level farmers. If you are producing at the community level, you have a challenge with what you are doing. You contact the plant technician who will be in proximity to you. Because the district agricultural officer is responsible for supervising activities across the district. The plant technicians are in closer range to the producers than all the actors than the district agricultural officer. We need to have 300 of those. Currently, we have 0. So that means the plant level technicians are not existing. Besides the technicians, we need specialists at the Ministry of Agriculture to be placed at the various regions. Liberia has 5 agricultural regions. Each of those regions is supposed to have 5 specialists in fields that are relevant to the development of the agriculture sector. We need to have people who are specialized in cereal crops, for example. Cereal crops are like the rice, the maize, we want to be expanding production. We do not have those specialists. We have 10 at the ministry, but we need to have 60 of them. That means there is a vacuum or a gap of 50 specialists at the Ministry of Agriculture that we need to hire. So you see, human resource wise, the Ministry of Agriculture is more capacitated to do the work it has to do. Now, besides the human capacity, there is this huge problem of financing agriculture in this country. You all are testament to this. Agriculture remains the least funded in our national budget. When we talk about the team and myself work on a budget that we thought would be able to at least meet 50% of the capacity gap or needs of the ministry. That budget, when we prepared it, they added up to $13.87 billion. $13.8 million. On the current payroll, what we saw there was around $2.1 million for payment of basic salary. The $2.1 million for basic salary, I just told you, is for the 373 that we have on the payroll. All of the 373, we already know that 117 of them are taking pay, nearing retirement already. We got people who are there with security titles, who are not technically adding to what the ministry should be doing to realize the core objective or function of the ministry. So, when we submitted the budget, we included an additional number of technical people we think should be able to join us to enhance our performance at the ministry. So instead of the 1 million we had in the budget, we submitted an additional proposed amount of $1.34 million, $1.39 million to be able to beef up what we already have. So our human resource, our business salary that we proposed on that budget, that will get us to perform at least at 50% capacity, will be around $3.5 million on business salary. We've also included in our budget some amount of money that will help us to do some initial investment in the plan we have from rice, maize, and cassava production. In that budget, we also included some money that we told you we want to, through the government, establish the Agriculture Enterprise Development Bank. And as a proposal for our counterpart funding in there, we proposed having $5.3 billion in the budget to support that initiative. But unfortunately, when the sector budget was released, the Ministry of Agriculture received $3.2 million. $3.2 million that is far below, or that's below the first requirement to meet our human capacity needs, 3.5. So these are the challenges that we have. We have the plan. We have the vision. We need the manpower. We need the financial resources that will help drive that vision. So we are making a public appeal to our legislature and the financing house to consider what can be done to support agriculture. Because it is true that agriculture support receives a government support for projects, but if the projects are there, you do not have the right manpower, you will not be able to monitor what is happening. Again, even with donor support, we need to have some investment ourselves as government in the investment that we need to support production, developing infrastructure. So we want to be able to call, we are calling on the government through the legislature to support our plan for developing the sector. So this is the case to the public and our audience out there. Recently we were at the World Bank Forum, and there was a startling revelation that Liberia is getting hotter. Liberia is getting hotter. We need to adopt climate-smart agriculture. And by climate-smart agriculture, we cannot be doing shaking cultivation the way our people do it, cutting the bushes and burning them. We want to be able to bring farmers on the land to do sedentary agriculture, sit in the seedless, produce continuously. This is the reason why we need more budgetary support to support our mechanization drive and other initiatives that will make agriculture vibrant, not just for achieving food self-sufficiency, but also to help us create wealth. Because wealth creation is one of the key pillars of this administration. And we can do that through agriculture, at least for a greater proportion of our population. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Alexander Nuta, the Honorable Minister of Agriculture. Without much, we will now invite to the podium. Roger Scott Johnson, the Executive Director of the Public Procurement and Succession Commission, for his presentation.
Good afternoon. Honorable Bishop, I want to say thanks for the invitation. I want to first say thanks to His Excellency, President of Joseph White, for standing of this nation. I'm here this afternoon with my team, the Director of Communication, Mr. Nathan Beck, Director of Communications, and my special assistant, Mr. Desmond Bill. They all come again this afternoon. Our nation is about to move forward very positively when it comes to procurement. I was appointed in July of 2023 by the Board of Commissioners of PPCC, and I commenced work on July 15, following the President of the Secretaries. Since my inception of PPCC, we have done tremendous changes. We refurbished the office complex. But let me just go back a little bit. These are very small entities, the entire institution, like GHC, LCC, and not just the Public Procurement Concession Commission. Responsible for procurement when it comes to procure all government activities. So our staff there is very small. We have a staff of 68 persons on our staff. Our office right down the street. Highly integrated institution. It's not political. And that's how the action is to be, how it is. So when I talk about PPCC, there are a couple of challenges. The infrastructure was falling apart. We have to make arguments to government to revamp the building, to run the building. We did it inside, we did the PPCC before we went now, a different structure inside. We renovated the building. We make sure that every staff got some benefit of that. We also fought to increase staff salary, and that was in the election year. Then when I got that, I realized my style of management, I believe in people, I value people. So we fought. We governed the town to increase the incentive of staff. And I'll be honest with you, they listen. And the staff at PPCC got us increase in the pay. You can have someone review a document for $10 million, $5 million, and they get paid $500 a month. We fought for that. Government listened to them making $500 and making $1,500. Listen, I must admit. And we also have some, we increased our staff workforce. We hired some people on board, got the capacity of the low. But right on the staff were kind of low, so we fought to boost them up by giving them a better pay incentives, and also by making sure that they have the integrity of the institutions intact. We also opened a training room at PPCC. It was not there before. We have a training room that do procurement training at the commission, and that training room can host up to 15 persons at a time. And I must be honest with you, we have very good development partners. The World Bank, the African Development Bank, they are very supportive of the different activities that's happening at PPCC. Now, our ongoing projects, the biggest thing we have to talk about is the electronic government procurement system. We are about to go e-procurement. And our Minister, the President is very key on fighting corruption. And so, e-procurement is a system that will more or less take away the human contact from procurement. Bear in mind, about 80% of corruption in government starts from procurement. In every government around the world. About 80% of corruption in government starts from procurement. So, we have to be very mindful as we roll it out. So, we're getting close to concluding the development of a robust electronic government procurement system in Liberia. An international software developer called European Dynamics was contacted to develop the EGB system on a software as a service model. The EGB system would be able to automate most of the manual procurement processes that inherited the individual decision making, which are the greatest vulnerabilities and the highest risks in public procurement. The system allows for online submission and improve major procurement documentation and enhance the bidding process through the online submission of bid documents. That means it takes away the human contact. You can have someone sitting down in Lofa County, you can bid on a project, maybe somebody looking for catering services, administrative information, you can go online and bid on. It will also have links to all online platforms, including the Integrated Financial Management System, IMIX, the Revenue Portal of Liberia, the Revenue Authority, the Liberian Business Registry, NASCO, and the banking sector. We are currently building a platform in this company. We have a technical team at PPCC. The team meets every week, every Wednesday. Where we engage with the developer in Europe, and we are making progress. Very soon, we'll be going to the road to create awareness in the public sphere among government entities. Our government not going to e-procurement. The president is very concerned about fighting corruption, and this is the best way to deal with the issue of corruption when it comes to procurement. It takes away the human contact. We happen to want to study tour in Nigeria, where we saw firsthand the actual working of e-procurement. We visited the Lagos government. We saw procurement activities there. Lagos is a very big state in Nigeria, and we visited another state called Idu. And the folks that use e-procurement, they have seen a whole lot. They have seen the result. They have seen the resources, and they have seen the challenges are being controlled. So they're making tremendous progress as we listen. So we want to bring the same thing back in Liberia. I think we're the only country in the sub-region that still using the manual procurement processes. So we are going to go live when it comes to e-procurement. And we also we are hoping to go live this year, August. We're going to do the dry run sometime in June of this year. We'll do the dry run. The e-procurement is going to go live in August, and we'll be partnered to 6 ministries. Those ministries are initially started with 6 ministries. The Ministry of Finance, or 6 entities, let me say, the LRA, Liberia Revenue Authority, the Ministry of Public Works, NASCO, Ministry of Health, and of course PPCC. Gradually, we'll bring along all of our entities and ministries. We'll roll it out gradually. It's a gradual process, but definitely it's going to happen. We'll have 143 of ministries, agencies, and commission in this country. We started the first 6. And as we roll out the first 6, we are hoping to roll out the other ones gradually. It's a gradual process. That's what we're back for right now. The World Bank is funding this initiative, which basically seeks to procure, install, and deploy the e-procurement application to all institutions of the government of Liberia with the objective of increasing effectiveness, efficiency, transparency, and integrity in public procurement. That's what RDA. The idea is to increase effectiveness, efficiency, transparency, and integrity in the procurement space as very critical of development. So when this happens, the IMF want to see that we are doing things the right way. The procurement process starts this way. When you do the procurement plan, give it to send the information to PPCC. You have that plan documented. And then later you come back and say you want to do this, you want to do your procurement plan, have this and different activities you want to achieve in the next 12 months. So we more than try to look at your plan and advance. Then you come to the procurement reporting. After you have gone through to do your expenditure, that will report on those activities in your plan. And then IMF, they are very concerned. IMF means the International Monetary Fund. They are very concerned about seeing procurement reports reflected on our website. It's very important for us. So when that happens, that's what happens for Liberia. It increases our country funding for some of the international donors. You see that Liberia has now transparency, integrity is strong, something called the SDR, the Special Dwelling Rights. We get more funding from them. So they are holding us accountable to make sure that these things happen. And then also we are currently trying to validate the act. This is the act. Every 10 years, we have to validate the act. So the current act is from 2010. We are now on the road to the validation of the current act. So we've done the validation of global Liberian lawyers. We subject matter technicians from PPCC and gave it the responsibility to review the current law and propose amendment to address the new innovations in public procurement, which include sustainable procurement, e-procurement, and gender procurement. The law has been drafted and is undergoing stakeholder validation. This is intended to use stack checking of the stakeholders' experiences with the PPCC, implementation, make recommendations for further actions and improvement prior to the submission of the draft act to the lawmakers of national legislation. The first year of the validation was already done. We did our data department, where we brought people from LOFA, Nima, Magibi, Benji, that was Zoom 2. Then one of the Grand Master, Grand Master, River Sound, Grand Crew, and G, to that section. That was done sometime last year. We're not about to do the last phase of the validation. That's in Moserado. And Moserado has the biggest portion of procurement practitioners, and all the ministries, agencies, commissions will be in Moserado this week, the 4th and the 5th, to bring folks from Baburu, Domi, and Kidman to join folks in Moserado for us to complete the validation process on this side. So we are making progress on that. And then we also will have PPCC is currently involved with the implementation of number of activities in educating the public and various stakeholders of what we do at PPCC. There's a planned massive procurement awareness to be carried out in communities, universities, intellectual centers, and the legal counties to showcase the work of PPCC and to inform the general public through radio talk shows, drama, jingles, town hall engagement to sensitize the public about the workings of PPCC and the implementation of the Public Procurement and Concession Act of that year. Our partner, the UNGP, very supportive of this. They are a very good partner, and we are working very closely with our development partner to showcase these things. So I won't take much of your time. Procurement is to the point. So I've been telling the minister, we will be on the road, like I said, to talk about e-procurement. And as a nation, we will launch this. It will definitely boost our country image when it comes to fighting corruption, when it comes to making sure that we get value for money as we list what government spend out there in the public space. We have a situation where there are big issues with procurement. To protect the integrity of the institution during the second round of the elections in 2023, what we did at PPCC, we started the procurement processes that will change the government. We said that no one will be able to do anything procurement after the inauguration. We put up a cycle in November after the second round of the elections. When there was a change of government, we instituted a cycle to start up procurement activities after the election, after the inauguration of the incoming government. There were all kinds of public sphere to say this and that, but as an integrity institution, we have to protect the integrity of the institution. So you have 12 months to do your expenditure. You waited until now, the change of government, no, we said no. You have to wait because you have a new team coming. The new team have to make their own decisions. This afternoon, I got a letter from the Ministry of Health. At the time, they were trying to do something, I said no. And that's what makes procurement important. As an integrity institution, we look at important measures into the context. We come there with our work for super team, but it has integrity. That's the most important. So I won't take much of your time. The minister, I want to say thanks for this opportunity. I will be back again and talk about e-procurement. I want to say thanks.
Thank you. So you listen to the Minister of Agriculture, who was followed by Mr. Johnson, the Executive Director of the PPCC. These are two areas that His Excellency, the President, is very passionate about. The other day, you heard him say that we cannot continue to do business as usual. He's also passionate about the agri sector. Listen to the Honorable Minister talk about the project that they have for urban Liberia. If you have a wetland behind your house, you can call the hotline from the ministry, and it will come to help you develop that land, and you yourself will benefit from the crops. If it's too much to consume in your home, you can be able to sell it. That's part of the President 100 day deliverable. So we will now turn over to the Director of Public Affairs, Mr. Pamela, who will respectively take your question. We appreciate for you to please stick your question to the issues that were raised by the two distinct speakers. But that we can be able to address it very comprehensively for the benefit of the Liberian people. Mr. Pamela.
Thank you, Minister. Taking the visa set, one question. And we are relating the question to Minister, Executive Director, speaking with 3 questions.
Thank you so much. So my name is George Momo, and I report for KCB Nigeria. So my question is to the Minister of Agriculture. And I remember in 2018, 2019, the government of Liberia and that of Israel had this agreement, and 20 Liberian students were sent to, agricultural students were sent to the nation of Israel to study modern agriculture. My understanding is that they are back in country. So I'm thinking, what's your plan to absorb them, because a lot of resources were spent on them. They have come back with modern technology. And just a follow-up, I listened to the modern plan you have for agriculture, but I did not hear you talk about farm to market road. So what are you thinking of in terms of working with the public work to handle the issue of farm to market road? Thank you.
Thank you. Good afternoon. My name is Desmond William, and I report for Labrador News Network and India TV. My concern is my concern goes to the boss of the PPCC. In the spirit of good governance, we are admitting that 80% of corruption in government starts from PPCC. We are all, as a staff in procurement, got it right? Staff in procurement. We are also concerned about your new plan for procurement services in Liberia, talking about digital online procurement building processes. How secured, because we are witnessing nearby countries like Nigeria that you referenced, talking about 2 states, there have been series of concerns that were raised by ECOWAS Parliament in terms of mad practices in procurement being carried out in that part of Edo state, after that report that you also talk about. How secured is this plan about the digital online building processes that you want to introduce to our country that is a struggling state? Tell us.
Thank you. My question will go to the Minister of Agriculture. I'm James and Bala. I'm report for Regional Africa in Nairobi County. Our Minister, I heard you speaking about the farmer corporations. You speak about Nagadas farming in the Republic of Liberia. Our Minister, do you have any plan in working with Firestone in Liberia in 1926? The swamps are in Firestone since the establishment, and these swamps are not cultivated in order to enhance the productions of the. You talk about the corn, you talk about rice. This government has a plan, not just Firestone alone, but all construction companies in this country that have the willingness to work along with them in order to encourage them to work with the government in producing more foods that we can eat in this country.
Thank you. My name is Emmanuel Okolo, and I report for Sky FM. My question goes to Minister Sana. This issue about cleaning the prime city, that the prime street in Monrovia, there has been discussion from the locals, especially those who sell it. But they may not have been fortunate against Sano, who has been appointed by the president. They believe that they can go in the street and sell, and has laid it down. They have been concerned. How you clean the street? Have you formed a plan for that already? Thank you.
My name is Roland Eric Olu, I'm a journalist. You spoke about farmers. My question goes directly to the Ministry of Agriculture. My name is Roland Eric Olu. You spoke about farmers being able to determine prices of crops by using improved method, like using one of the system of measurement. So what are plans surrounding some energetic but illiterate farmers who do not understand how to determine kilograms and grams?
I report about 3, so PPCC. PPCC? I report the government. I report the PPCC.
Thank you.
He's not asking question now. You
Thank you. My name is Alison Stewart, and I report for Boston Life.
Okay. Thank you. I want to begin with Roland first. Roland raised a concern about farmers' ability to participate in the standardization of our market. We spoke about it. I think I said, Roland, we are going to start with first trying to standardize those of our actors that are at the marketing lane. So if you are sitting, say, at Cabinet Junction, selling your tomato or selling your watermelon, you'll be the prime target because we know you have some level of maybe literacy that we can train. In fact, right now, we are developing 5 of those cubes around the city, beginning with Cabinet Junction. In the next, you'll see our people training them to be able to use the literate ones. We are not targeting them now, but over the period of time, we'll make sure that everybody who is in production is trained. This is the reason why we are not trying to organize any production units. If you are producing as a cooperative, you are all producing together. I know you will have somebody among the cooperative that is literate. That person will be trained to be able to adapt the system that we are talking about. So James spoke about a plan to work with Firestone and other concessionaires in developing our land. That's a very critical condition. I like that question because I was born in Firestone. I grew up in Firestone for most of my childhood time. Right? I know in Firestone, the tappers would go to the farm, to the plantation in the morning, and the afternoon they would go on the farm to use the lowland to produce either rice or sugarcane as an alternative source of income. Our understanding is that is not happening anymore. So that question has been raised to us a couple of times. We are planning to call the Association of Agriculture Concessionaires or meetings to discuss this issue and see how best we can address it. They should be able to support us in giving access to the lowland that they have in their
You ask questions, you gotta be quiet. You can't be in the hall as journalists and just talking across the floor while someone is speaking. It shows disrespect.
Thank you, Minister. So, Case TV talk about the Israeli trained scholars, right? That's true. Israel has trained a lot of people. In fact, we have a list of 150 persons that have been trained through the Valley program. 2 weeks ago, I had a meeting with the concerned Israeli trained scholars. We keep a meeting. We had a very good conversation. We are trying to, once the opportunity is created for us, to be able to bring some of them into full employment to support our agricultural development program, make an organization program. In fact, right now, the Deputy Minister told me some of those Israeli trained guys that we spoke to are actually working with the folks at the University of Liberia on the farm as a technical assistant to them. So we are going to bring them on board. We're going to have that. The second part of the question had to do with market, farm market role. The Ministry of Public Works and our research are working on that. In fact, it may not be farm market role, but you may be interested in knowing that even under the Ministry of Agriculture, through the Reed Trap project, and this is where I will just make this clarification using this opportunity. This is where some people feel that agriculture receives a lot of money. The World Bank, under the Reed Trap project, gave a financing opportunity to the Ministry of Agriculture and made available $85 million through the Reed Trap project. But that money is not going to agricultural development. It's going to road construction in the southeast. It may not be far to Market Road, but it will interest you to know that even those who are in the southeast, some of them produce, but they do not have the real asset role to bring our commodities to the market. So we are not just working with public works in fact the market road development. Ministry of Agriculture and Public Works are working on a couple of projects that are giving access to the market through development of access road, like the main highway leading from Tapeta all the way to Siraki. Ministry of Agriculture project through the RETRAP financing have been able to facilitate construction of those roads that will be paid. Even under the Ministry of Agriculture itself, the IFA project support from the market road development. We have some funding from IFA to support the rural community create those assets. We just been giving, validated some of the contracts that have been offered. So they will soon start doing some rural development work in Lofa and Lima counties. The last question from Allison has to do with other crop. We did not talk about mango, we did not talk about the sour salt, but there are other avenues that will be created along the way to support the food crop development. We are targeting those ones that we can immediately provide some support for, so that those who will be involved with them can have greater potential to export them or use them for industrial purposes. Thank you.
To the question, people, Desco? You asked the question, right? The first question was, how we're going to roll out this e-procurement stuff? That was the question, the summary. And we more like I said, it's a digital system, and we have a lot of training involved. Initially, we're going to roll out to 6 government entities. That the whole country will have at once. It's a gradual process. We train people, a lot of training involved, training intensive, so that you see that it makes the whole procurement process transparent. You will see who bid on a particular tender, how the process was done, who won the bid, everything will be transparent. So, in terms of making a secure plan, it will be where every entity, the procurement director will be trained on the e-procurement. Even the vendors will also be trained. Those will be doing the bidding. Will also come to PPCC and be trained. How to train about PPCC? If you're a contractor, you need to road construction, or you need to catering, you'll come to our entity, to the commission, we'll train you, we'll give you a password, we'll give you a user ID. If you come, all your basic credentials, your basic registration, you'll be registered with basic registration, you'll have your LRA clearance, your NASCO clearance, you'll upload everything, you have an account. So each time someone will tell you out there, you can see. So it's a gradual process, it's a training process to make our procurement processes very transparent and efficient. Okay? And the second question on we spoke about decentralization. Now, we are working very closely with the World Bank. Every county has a service center. Okay, in the service center, there'll be a window for procurement. And what we're trying to do is to identify people in the counties, we will train them on the whole procurement processes so they will be able to represent PPCC in the counties. We are now having a discussion with the Ministry of Finance, because when people have been trained, we have to be deployed. When you deploy, we want to give you a laptop or scanner or printer in the county. So the counties have service center. We had a meeting last week with the World Bank where we spoke about the service center. Which service center has the more traffic when it comes to procurement activities. So in terms of decentralization, I relate to that, we are more like working towards the service center in the counties to make sure that those in the counties will also be served when it comes to procurement. If you don't have a laptop in the county service center, the person there can help you to upload you. You want to build a job and educate you the rest of it. So that's how we're going to approach that. Okay.
So you asked a question about government cleaning the street, and you want to know whether government has found an alternative path for the petty trader. When I spoke here, I was clear as crystal. I said to you that the task force comprising the Mororo City Corporation, the PB City Corporation, the Librarian Water and Sewer, and the police, they are having engagement with these street vendors. On the other hand, we have to understand that there are public safety concerns that the government is not obligated to address. There's nowhere around the world where you go to the capital city, you see people selling gasoline products on the sidewalk. So we are not using or applying heavy force. The government is engaging them, but you also have to understand that street selling has never been as a result of lack of alternative venue. You see how the Omega market is abandoned. People are compelled to come on the road. So it's a mindset. And to get rid of that mindset, we have to engage them. So the government is engaging with them. The conversation are ongoing. Thank you.
Additional question, please. One.
Okay, my name is Lois in the report for Punch FM Punch TV. Let me first say thank you, Minister, for the level of deliberation and your insight in the agri sector. My concern has to do with the issue of storage. Our farmers have been challenged in terms of where to store their food till it is needed in the market. Most of them sometimes they bring their commodity and spoil along the way. They don't have place to keep their food till it's needed. So do you have any plan of having a storage for farmers to store their food? Thank you.
So, thank you. My question goes to the Minister of Agriculture. You did mention about the administrative resource capacity is very low. Therefore, how can the ministry address this situation and make the ministry work effectively and efficiently? Thank you.
Thank you very much. My name is Shakespeare Sembo. I'm looking for 30%. My question goes to you. Mr. Minister, thank you for your attention. Deliberation. Your plan is very huge. I want to know, what do you want to achieve in the first 12 months of the administration of the Ministry of Agriculture? Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Minister, for your presentation. My question going to the Minister of Agriculture. My name is Colin, agriculture journalist. I write for the Daily Observer newspaper. Mr. Minister, you spoke about the need for budgetary implement for the Ministry of Agriculture, which you are quite correct. But one of the things that we have observed over the years is that resources attracted for agriculture are being mismanaged, being alleged. So if government is going to pay attention to your call to have an increment in the budget when you talk about, part of females, you need to establish the enterprise development bank, which is very good because many of our farmers currently really need access to finance to improve on that. How can you ensure that resources allocated for the Ministry of Agriculture cannot be mismanaged? Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Punch FM. Sorry, I didn't get the name correct. But when we spoke, we talked about the value chain approach to agricultural development. It means we are going to be looking at agriculture not just from production. We are producing, we are supporting value addition, we are supporting post-harvest handling, and then the packaging. This is the reason why we have said, and we communicated that to our partners, that if you are supporting any production unit, that unit should be equipped with the appropriate facilities that will enable them to be sustainable. So, in our own case, we are going to make sure that those that we are supporting as an entity or as an institution will be equipped with the right storage facilities, not just storage, but processing. If you are in the rice production, in the production unit, in the cluster, that cluster should have a place where you go to process your product. And there should be a warehouse where the processed part or processed rice is stored. For vegetable producers, for example, most of them are the ones that experience the losses because vegetables are perishable. We are encouraging our partners to be able to provide for them some storage facility, especially when you are involved in large-scale production. So post-harvest handling is going to be one of our key priorities on this drive because we know the perishability of agricultural commodities. And the guy that talk about how we run the ministry with this capacity deprivation we talk about. And let me be frank, this is the reason why we've come here to make this current call on our legislature to create the environment for us to be able to bring on board the technical people that are needed to drive this agenda. The agenda may be ambitious, but you will only achieve it when you have the right capacity to do so. So currently we are managing the few stars that we have. You see, the project unit and myself are having some issues, not bad thing, but we are worrying over the staff because some of the staff that were hired for the project, I needed to call them back to come and help me do some of the things that I'm doing. So I am tapping on what the project has to do what it needs to be doing. We can only be able to strengthen our own capacity if the budget is there for us, if the legislator can help us to create that budgetary space for us to be able to recruit the right technical staff that we need for the effective performance of the operation of the ministry. Jet TV asked a very good question for me. What do I intend to achieve over the next 12 months? Final question. What I want to achieve first, and that which I want to do within the first 30 days, is to have a clearly defined national agriculture development plan. That plan is crucial because it will direct us as a government and our development partner on how to invest in agriculture, where to invest. If that plan is formulated, approved, and become functional, then of course we know what we want to do, we should achieve it. But our ultimate goal is to ensure Liberia achieve a greater degree of self-sufficiency in food production or our stewardship. In the next 12 months, if we can have our hands on the national development plan, if we can also have a clear idea on our establishment of the agricultural industrial development, then we'll be happy because it creates opportunity for farmers to invest in agriculture. For private sector actors to invest in agriculture. If you don't want to ask a good question, I would like that. Before I became minister, I've been a consultant in the agriculture sector myself with other things. One of the things that I pay key attention has been what goes from donor or development partner to the agriculture sector. So I was able to review 20 projects. I never say it over and over again. I reviewed 20 projects in the agriculture sector between 2010 and 2020. Those 20 projects amounted to $685.19 million and 29.5 million euros. So if you added them up, that was more than $700 million spent in the agricultural sector over 10 years. But we know how the output of the sector was over that same period. So we came to this ministry with the vision of ensuring that there will be no waste of resources allocated to agriculture. Our project team at the Ministry of Agriculture is committed to that new vision. We will make sure that every cent that is spent or allotted for spending in the agriculture sector results to the impact that it has to make on the sector. So we can assure our lawmakers, if you allot to us $1 million, audit us after the fiscal year. In fact, because of my cognizance of the need to ensure transparency in the management of the agriculture sector, I got two of my deputies who are auditors by profession. My deputy for planning is an auditor, My deputy for administration, even though she has administrative background, she's also a seasoned auditor. They will be guiding whatever happens there. So we'll make sure that for every dime we receive, that dime will be spent for the purpose of which it was given. And we have communicated that to our development partners. If you are formulating a project and telling us that you will do X, Y, Z, we want to make sure that we reach to Z, not start doing at Y or X. So we show transparency and accountability in whatever government is able to us in our leadership.
Good afternoon, my name is Onya Philip. I work for the state-owned New Liberian newspaper. The question is related to cattle and nuclear. Can you talk very splendidly about the agriculture sector, and considering that you are the head of the payroll of the arrest agenda, talk about 50,000 hectares to be procured to farm rice, even though you're not given the relocation, and you do that. But then your budget is very low according to yourself. Are you disappointed?
Okay, good afternoon. My name is Bratonsi, and I report for the Chule Luton newspaper. So, Mr. Minister, permit me to use my native tone to ask this question. All the plenty things you just said, do you have the capacity to sustain it to the end? What is the duration? What is the total cost of all the projects despite the challenges you listed? Thank you.
Thank you. My name is Samson W. We are in our report for SKTV and Board of Sano Community Review. So, a question goes to the minister, and I want to know what are the plans you have for our local market farmers, in making sure we provide tools for them to do their right.
Thank you. My name is Desmond again, and I work for the News Network and India. This time around, I'm again to the head of BBC. On yesterday, the ORC of Local addressed the Liberian people through the Office of the Press, and he explained further where he said the ongoing project of the construction of Local's headquarters was amended in December by its then predecessors, and the amendment was done through the PPCC. And I'm interested, and the Liberian people are also interested to know exactly what the figures. You spoke about the initial project being at $2.9 million United States dollars for 5 floors, and later amended in conformity with your office or your entity that resulted it into $4.4 million with additional $1.5 million for 2 floors. Now, I want to know, in the spirit of good governance with your predecessors, I'm sure there was a turnover note. This turnover note that you met. You were there. Oh, but then you are the right person, I'm glad. So, how was the amendment done? The Liberian people are interested to know, with this figure, in the spirit of good governance, how credible and how fair was the amendment? If you have 5 floors for $2.9 million and you have just 2 floors for $1.5 million. Thank you.
Okay, let me thank you all for listening very interactive. So the first question came from you and David. It's asking if I'm disappointed. I don't know how to answer that. But I know my budget is low. That's why I'm making a clearing call to the legislature to, increase the budget so that we are able to realize the vision that the team has for the sector. The voice, the second question has to do with the plan. Whether we have the capacity to implement the plan. I think we spoke about it. We are, right now, we do not have the human resource and financial capacity to implement the plan we have for the sector. It is clear. Human resource wise, We need to hire the technician that we need. Financial wise, we need to have a budget that will be able to not just hire those people, but to make some complete investment ourselves as a government in developing the infrastructure that will go with supporting the agricultural sector. And he was talking about 50,000 hectares. I think the first guy talk about that. 50,000 hectares will be developed. We are seeing developing it across the country, the entire country, not specific area. Country where the potential for rural development exists, we will do that across the country. And my friend talked about the voice of Sino plan for farmers that will get them tools. I have said it. I don't intend to give any farmer tools. We want to be able to migrate farmers from receiving tools to be part of a production unit that will benefit from mechanization or mechanized farming system. If you are a smallholder, you are involved in rice production, we put you on a 50 hectare of land to produce rice, which will be able to help develop that initially using power tiller. You will use some labor initially for power tiller. So we are not just planning to empower them, we want to make them to be mechanized farmers. We will give them small farm machines. But we give you cutlass, we want to give it to you just for maybe doing small other work on the farm, not as the primary tool or implement for your farming activity. So that what we do. We are thinking about them in a different way. We want to make them sedentary farmers, not sitting or subsisting level as they are still doing. Thank you.
Okay, to answer your question. Answer your question regarding the class situation the ORC at the time of PPCC, so I believe gave them no objection. I cannot recall the other amendment for 4% amendment. Just can recall that, but I know we PPCC gave a prior approval. They submitted a procurement plan to the commission. They have the requisite documentations as relates to that, and they were reviewed by the commission. I think they use a restricted or bidding or restricted procurement method, and they set up communication about us. We review that. We have to research that and get back to that. I know it was initially approved by my predecessor, who was the officer in charge at the time before I became the executive director. So I don't think there was anything wrong in the sense that they had a procurement plan that was sent to us. And in the procurement space, you can do an amendment to your existing plan. So we have to research that, and otherwise, yeah, I will have to get back to you on that, but they certainly they have an initial approval from the commission. Okay, thank you.
So, on this note, I'd like to invite the Minister of Information, Cultural Affairs and Tourism, Honorable Olivia Mampia, who will close us for today's press briefing. Minister here.
So let me thank you all for coming. Certainly this was one of the longest press conferences here because the Minister of Agriculture had a lot to offer. And I want to thank you for your patience. You saw the Deputy Minister for Technical Services presiding over the press conference today. I do not intend to be the minister who does all the work. I believe in the capacity of the individuals that were appointed here by President Waka, and I'm going to give them the space to advance
their potential. And I want to say on the record that I'm impressed with the performance of Deputy Minister Sando, not just that he could lay down the issues, but he was prepared to face the question. Minister, thank you. I also want to thank my brother and friend who is the Minister of Agriculture, Dr. Alexander Muta. Agriculture is the first pillar of the arrest agenda. It goes to say that the Ministry of Agriculture is very pivotal in what the Waka administration will be doing over the next 6 years. And from what I just listened to, I believe in this instance, the President has the square peg in the square hole. And so I can say with confidence, as the spokesperson of the government, that his administration will succeed, which by extension means the Waka administration will succeed on the agricultural front. I'd like to thank the Executive Director of the PPCC, Roger Scott Johnson, for coming and for presenting to you some of the issues at the PPCC. On Thursday, the Dean of the President's Cabinet, the Foreign Minister, Her Excellency Sarah Desko Nyati, will be back here. You saw her the other day. She will be addressing our press conference. And the Central Bank of Liberia will come along also. So two great individuals, the governor of the bank, I don't know whether the governor will come or someone else, but the bank will be here, and the Ministry of Foreign Affairs will be here. Like I normally say, I'm sure when the Minister of Agriculture departs, along with the PPCC Executive Director, we'll be here for now almost 3.5 hours. We'll give us some smiles, right? Sure of that, right? Yes. Thank you for coming.